Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and we have come a long way since Lingsha was first introduced in Honkai Star Rail. Back then, people would actually call her like Gallagher 5-star. If you have Gallagher, you can just skip this character and stuff like that. But time has told, as many of us know when we play Honkai Star Rail, characters that seemingly aren't very important will definitely bite us in the butt, especially if we skip it. I'm going to talk about a few things in this video, whether she is still worth it, whether you really need her right now, going into the new uncertainty of 3.0 and beyond, as well as if you already have base copy, do I recommend you get her signature, multiple copies, as all of us know, HB inflation and stuff like that, but do you need your support to be even stronger? So let's talk about the first things first for general people. Is she still worth it? And in my opinion right now, she is probably number one in terms of the sustain category. If you compare her with characters, for example, like Aventurine, compare her with characters like Fucc, Ho, and etc., all the different characters nowadays, I would say that Lingsha definitely ranks number one. She was boosted by a lot of different factors, of course, with the arrival of Fucc coming into the game. Lingsha is basically, some of us joke that she's like an erudition character, does so freaking much AoE, erudition, fire, damage, whatever it may be, and yet sustaining your entire team at the same time. She has summons to play into the future meta, whatever summons may be, although no character seems to be directly like benefiting her so far, other than Sunday in terms of summon related things. So far, like Remembrance MC doesn't really impact her that much, but she still does play into a lot of good teams that are characters that are coming up. For example, she can play into Aglier teams, she can even be playing to the Herta teams, so very strong, as of course we talked about on the channel already. This character is probably top pick for supports right now, but the question always is, I want to keep things grounded, right? It's very easy to say just pull every single character and stuff like that. At the end of the day, do you need your DPS coming from your 4th slot? If you require that DPS coming from it, then I would say yes, Lingsha is really very solid. But the alternative that we have in the game to make things work is still Gallagher. If you are not a person chasing for 0 turn clears, you don't care too much about maxing every single memory of chaos, if you don't mind like getting 1 or 2 less, I would say that even though she's really strong, you don't really need to pull these kind of characters that are top tier. You can pretty much make do with anyone else. Even for one of the characters that have been around for the longest time, Ho is probably still top 3 right now, going into Panacity, and maybe even second in my opinion at least. But that's of course another topic for another day. Supports generally will go a long way. Is she still worth it overall? Yes, she's probably best catered out of all of them. But I want you to know one thing. In Panacony or Amphorius, you're definitely going to have new sustained characters, and those new sustained characters, when they come, will definitely be top tier. Can you acknowledge that fact? Are you okay with that? If you're fine, then now let's jump into the next category that we want to talk about, is what exactly does she play into? If you're talking about team compositions, right now she's probably best in slot for anything to do with break, because she scales with break. Anything to do with Fucc, she benefits from. But even outside of that, if you need characters to do AoE damage, a lot of damage, and sustain the entire team, cleanse as well, don't use too much skill points, Lingsha is there and she's a really solid option, especially when sustaining healing seems to be okay right now. You don't really need that maximum effective HP. If you have characters that sap their own life, for example, maybe future characters that comes out that rhymes with like Tuesday, My Day, or whatever, not that sap their own life, maybe Lingsha will also be really solid, because any character that saps life generally wants to play with a character that heals rather than a character that shields, and that's when Abundance definitely outperforms preservation units in that kind of situation. So talking about this, do you need her Eidolons? If you already have her, you're already convinced that she's super strong, super meta, do you need her Eidolons? And my honest opinion is no, I don't think so. Not because I didn't pull it myself, but if you look at it, break efficiency, if it increased 50%, is nice to have. This is a whole entire new character that you might be skipping for. At the same time, when you break an enemy, you reduce their defense 20%. This is quite strong, but generally speaking, I don't think it's a must pull. Helping increase, this is her break efficiency, not even like team-wide buffing. So that is something to note. For E2, is not also super good. You whole team break effect buff by 40%, which is nice. but it's not super critical. Again, this is another character. If you needed this extra 40%, you probably could just find it in like substats and stuff like that, or even getting a signature, because a signature might even be cheaper than an entirety of this one here, especially since you can move the signature around. Whereas if eventually sustain characters, support characters go out of meta, then you can't move this to like another character thereafter as well. So if you're talking about Eidolons, E1 probably will be the most optimal. E2 is like kinda, if you really wanted to, I don't think it's really very good. E4, since some of you might be like mega whales trying to go all in because you super regret skipping her or something, or you've been saving up. Fu Yuan takes action, restores HP, that's the lowest. I don't think this is again super critical. Last but not least, the mega whale one, E6 here. If any of you are getting E6 Lingsha, let me know in the comments. I think none, probably none at all. I don't even know whether this is a section worth it to talk about. But while Fu Yuan is on the field, reduce all enemies' resistance by 20%. When Fu Yuan attacks, additionally deals 4 instances of damage. So it turns her both into a hybrid support as well as like a bit more damage on the side as well. Prioritizes targets, of course, whose toughness is greater than 0 and fire weakness as well. So the E6 is nice, but it's still very, very expensive. Probably her best Eidolon out of all of them, in my opinion, other than E1, E6, the most attractive. For signature like Cone, the thing is we have very, very good options that are free to play already that gives you a lot of stats. So in order to justify, and this is the same for any other supportive character of the preservation as well as the abundance class, in order to justify like pulling for signatures, they have to be really, really special. And so far, I haven't really seen one that is like super, super OP, that is like a must pull kind of thing. Sand alone stays true. This gives you 12% more than the Gallagher picture like Cone. At the same time, after wearer uses out to attack enemy targets, you get this inflicts target with this wolf-free state, and then they take more damage, 10% more damage, and increase by 8% if wearer's break effect is 150% or higher. So generally for Lingsha, you will be giving your team an 18% additional damage increase. It's nice. I don't think it's really essential. It's just nice all in one. It's definitely her best in slot, but there are so many other options in the abundance category in my overall opinion. Long story short, E0, S0, if you wanted to go for Lingsha at all, probably would be my recommendation for most people. But this is a really tough time because there are so many characters to pull right now. You have a quad banner, and we are sitting right at the edge of 3.0 into Amphorius with so many new characters coming out and the meta changing, HP inflation, everyone's worried. My honest recommendation, and this is where it's like my truthful talk, right? I think that if you don't need the additional sustain, chill out, don't get this character. I don't think she's a huge necessity. If you already have old sustain characters, for example, maybe like Huo Huo, you have even Luo Ca, for example, these characters will work well with any HP sapping based character as well. And if you're playing the break teams, you probably already have an alternative, for example, like Gallagher. So use these characters to your advantage, save that resources, look for future characters that are pinnacle in forming teams. For example, maybe like Fucc is for break, maybe for example, the Herta, maybe other future characters that are coming out that you're looking forward to. Maybe 3B as well, as a support character, not sustain, but all these characters definitely look a lot more enticing for the longer run. But that being said, Lingsha is probably well positioned still to take advantage of everything. And I hope you found this balanced review helpful. If you like such content, like, comment, and subscribe for more such future content as well. And check out these 2 other videos on the new 3.0 patch coming up, and see you guys in the next one.